and welcome everyone to my first real live stream here on YouTube. I'm Jutta Schneider and I'm super happy it finally worked. Welcome here to my live stream. Today we're going to draw together a cute little chubby spider which is moving across the screen, and maybe we're gonna wait for a few more to arrive. If you want, you can just say hello in the chat, and then we are about to start. Maybe I'll introduce myself first. I'm Jutta Schneider. I'm an illustrator, teacher, and designer based in Germany. And yes, I love to share my knowledge about Procreate and illustration. I have classes on Skillshare. You can find all the links to my Instagram and Skillshare profile down there, further down in the video description. But now let's get started. If you have any questions in between, feel free to write them in the comments. I try to have a look in between onto the chat to see if there's anything I can answer. However, the laptop, due to its super loud noise, I placed it a little bit further away from the microphone, so I really have to change my head. But I see you guys now. Hey! Okay, so let's get started. Welcome again. Hi, I'm super happy to see you all. First of all, we want to create our own brush. Let me show you quickly. Let's maybe go further down here. You can see our cute little spider. And it has such a nice, fluffy and plushy fur. And what we're going to do now first is we create a brush with which we can depict those little furry hair, that we don't have to draw each and every line on its own. And I'm going to show you how that works now. So let's go back to the gallery and hit the plus button to open a new canvas. To make a brush, it's always good to work in a pretty large canvas. The bigger the canvas, the better is the quality of the brush later on. So I'm gonna open a square canvas with 3000 by 3000 pixels. If you don't have that yet, you just open it by hitting the plus button here. And here you see the dimensions, and you can just type in 3000 by 3000 pixel. It gives me 70 layers. That's okay. Down there you can set it to pixels, and then you just say create. But I already have such a canvas, so I'm going to say cancel and just tap my canvas here. Next, what we need to know is when we make a brush, it's important that this brush is set to pure black. Otherwise, the brush later on, when you draw with it, it's not gonna be fully opaque. So let's hit our color picker dot here and tap twice down there in the black area. And once you tap twice, it just snaps onto a pure black value. We can verify that here. When we see all the numbers here are set to 0, that means we have a pure black. Awesome. Next, we need a brush. It doesn't really matter what brush we need. We can use a pencil, for example. I'm going to use my sketcher, but you could also use in the sketching library, you can pick, for example, the 6B pencil. That's working wonderfully, and you're going to need that later on anyways. I'm going to use my brushes today. Those are just brushes I made myself. Most of my brushes you find in my skill check class. You can just download it there when you take my classes for free. You will also find some fonts and color palettes. So I always offer a lot of resources in my classes, so it might be worth it for you to check them out. So I'm going to use my sketcher and start drawing random dots here all around the screen. It's just, let's make it a little bit bigger. It doesn't really matter how they look. Some are big, some are small, until we maybe have kind of 14, 12-ish. Let's see how many we can spread here. We just spread them randomly across our canvas. Maybe here one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe one more here and one more here. Okie dokie. Maybe we move this a little bit to just have them spread evenly. That should be good. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer 2 more times. Let's duplicate it and let's duplicate it once more. So now we have 3 layers with all the same dots, and we're going to apply Gaussian blur to each of the layers. So by tapping, we start with the bottom one, just tap it and go to the magic wand tool up there and hit Gaussian blur. And now we just swipe to the right with our pencil and apply a nice blur. Not too much, maybe like this. I'm at 13% somehow. Okay, next one, we're gonna do the same. We're gonna go here and we're gonna add Gaussian blur a little bit less. And with the last one the same. Just tap the layer, magic wand, Gaussian blur, and blur it. Maybe the bottom one can have a little bit more. Let's see. That should be okay. And now we're gonna pick some of our dots. We're gonna go to the selection tools and make sure it's set to freehand. And now we just draw around some of our dots and hit the gray button, the gray dot here at the beginning of our circle to close the shape. And we're gonna maybe pick this one too, close the shape, because that helps us to pick more than just one. Pick another one, and maybe we also pick this one. And then we go again to our magic wand tool and to use saturation brightness, and then we set those 4 dots a little brighter. I know why it's not working properly. We didn't merge the layers. Let's do that first. So let's merge all layers together by just pinching those 3 layers together. And then, sorry, we need to do it again. So freehand selection tool, freehand, and just draw around some dots. Make sure we tap the gray dot to close the shape. And maybe this one, and maybe this one too. And now let's try it again. We go to the magic wand, go to use saturation brightness, and then swipe the brightness a little bit to the right. And then you see those dots we've chosen, they are getting lighter. And that's exactly what we want. As I said in the beginning, we want pure black to create an opaque brush, but in our fur, we want some of the hair don't stand out as much. So that's why we turn a few of the dots down a little bit. And then all we need to do is copy the whole canvas. So let's double tap with my pencil. I set the copy and paste function with double tap on my Apple Pencil. For you, if you still have the default settings, you might just swipe down with 3 fingers, just swipe down. Then this little window here appears. And now we say copy all. That copies the white canvas, but also the dots that are visible. It copies basically everything that's visible. And then you go to your preferred brush set. Maybe you have already one with your favorite brushes, or you want to create your own new brush set by tapping here in the brush library. You swipe down all the way to the top and tap a plus here. But I'm gonna just add it here in my favorite brush set. So let's tap the plus button here. And here we are in the brush studio where we can make our own brush. So we start with the shape. Let's go to shape. Let's go to shape source and edit. And here we see our shape editor, and we want to import our image. We just hit paste. I tapped import and then tap paste. And now we have our canvas, the one we just copied. We have imported here into our shape editor, but it's the wrong way around. What we need is a black background and whitish grayish dots. So we just tap with 2 fingers to invert our canvas. And that's what it's done. Okay, so let's go ahead and tap done. Our shape is here. And now we can already see something happened here. Meep, meep, meep. Looks like wonky single stripy lines. That's already really good. So let's go to our stroke path. We need to make a few more adjustments. First of all, we want to decrease our spacing, I guess. Let's go with maybe the higher the number is, the more we have space in between the dots, and we don't want that. We want like real lines. So let's go down a little bit. I'm at 8% right now. Then we can go to stabilization. Stabilization with streamline and stabilization helps us to draw like not that wonky lines, you know. The higher the amount of streamline, you can see the more crisp and more rounded and curvy the lines are getting. Less wonky. Here we go. So I think I might go with kind of this 72%. And I'm also adding a little bit of stabilization. That also helps to create smoother lines. Okay. We don't need any taper. We set our shape, but I want to turn on randomized as well. Let's turn on randomized, and then the lines are getting, they don't look all the same. The more lines you draw, they all look different, and that's really important for hair, because usually hair is really like not tidy, not combed all the time. Okie dokie, let's go. Grain source. Yes, we want to add a grain source that we don't have this black and harsh lines. So let's go to edit and let's go to import and then import source library. Source library, because Procreate itself has a huge source library already, and we can choose some nice images from there to make our brushes. So I think I want to go with, let's see, pastel board coarse, but I don't want the dark version. I want to invert it again. I want to have it in a light version. Let's see how that looks. So I tapped again with 2 fingers to invert it. And now I'm gonna tap done. Okay, so our lines, I can't make it bigger to show it to you, but the lines are not fully opaque. They have a little bit of a texture, and that's really, really nice. Okay, so I'm good with that. I leave everything else here as it is. So let's go on to the rendering. And here I probably hit light glaze to not have them super opaque. Great. I don't think we need any wet mix or color dynamics, but dynamics, let's see, we can play with the opacity a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that looks very, very nice. Cute and plushy, very nice. Okay, the flow maybe. Let's see. Apple pencil, opacity should be always. Let's see. That's all right. And then let's check the properties. That's, I guess, okay. Let's see. No. Oh. Oh, that is better. I just applied a little bit of the flow. That's really good. And I guess the size, maybe I want to play with the size. Yes, that makes it also more vivid. So if I press harder, the fur is getting bigger, the hair are getting bigger. And if I press lighter, it's yeah, thinner hair. Yes, I guess I like that. Okay, so let's just go and tap about this brush and give it a nice name. Let's call it spider fur. Wonderful. And we type in our name and we sign it. And as soon as you apply a photo here, if you just tap it and add from your camera or from your photos, add an image. Once that's imported, nobody can claim this brush as his. Yeah, so this can't be removed any longer, but only when you imported a photo. So make sure if you give away brushes, yeah, make sure you always import a photo. Otherwise, people can claim them as their own, and you probably don't want that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how that looks now. So I'm gonna tap done. And here's my brush. We can try that out. Cute, very cute. And here I can show you, it has a little bit of a texture. You decide if you like that or if you prefer something else. But I think it's really cute. I'm a huge fan of texture in my illustrations. Okay, so we can continue with our real illustration. Let me just quickly check if there's a question. No, not so far. Okay, we go to the gallery and we need to start a new canvas. So tap gallery and tap our plus button here. So what we need to keep in mind if we want to make an animation, it's gonna cost a lot of layers. Yeah. So if you have a smaller iPad, not the huge iPad Pro with I don't know how many RAM or even the M1, 2, whatever chip, yeah, you might not have a lot of layers. That's why we're not gonna go with a 3000 by 3000 pixel canvas. We go a size down, and I want to try the 2000 by 2000 pixels. Of course, you can also make a square canvas if you want to, but I usually share my art on Instagram, and they just need it's just best to post a square photo there. So I'm gonna go with a 2000 by 2000 pixel canvas. Again, if you don't have that set up yet, you just hit the plus, tap in 2000 by 2000 pixels, and then you tap create. So I don't know if I did. No, that's the wrong one. That's a big one. I don't need a big one. So I try it again. Let's open a square 2000 by 2000 pixel canvas, and let's check how many layers I have now. We just go to the wrench tool here, and we tap canvas, and we tap canvas information. And here we see the layers, and right now maximum layers is 163. That should be okay, that should be enough. If you have way less, then you might want to go with a canvas with 1000 by 1000 pixels or 1500 by 1500 pixels, because we might need quite a few layers. But you also need to know, we need so many layers to create a smooth animation. If you want to have it kind of like a stop motion video, that's all right. You can go with less layers. You just try what works for you. But I kind of want the spider to come down smoothly and then go up again smoothly. And once it's down, I want it to blink or wink, whatever. And then I want to have it go down and vanish out of the canvas again. So we want to start with our background. I don't like to draw on a white canvas, so I want to tint my background in bright pink. I made myself a color palette already, and I fell in love with those colors here. So I have a pink value, which is almost towards purple, and then kind of up here it's a very bright one. Yes, I love it. And next color, I have the same. I have like a little brighter pink here and a little bit desaturated. So you move your little dot here towards white, and that desaturates it and makes it lighter, of course. I have something like a white tone. I think it's even a pure white. I have a dark tone, let's see, a blackish tone. It's not a pure black, it's kind of a very, very dark blue. Then I have a darker green tone, which is pretty much in between green and yellow, so quite a yellowish green, and in much lighter value. And that's basically all the colors we need. So I started already. I color dropped pink onto my canvas. And now I want to add a little bit of interest, because just pink is a little bit boring. So let's go and add a layer. And I want to turn this layer into color burn blend mode. And you're going to see what that does in a second. Now we need something like a stripy brush. You could go and try if your fur brush works, but I don't like that so much. I made myself another one because I'm a huge fan of stripy brushes. That's this one. You could also go and use the dry brush from the painting section here. The dry brush kind of has a similar effect. So I'm going to use mine, stripey here. And then I want to just draw some random lines here onto the canvas just to give it some texture. And you can see the blend mode turns the pink into a very bright, what is it? Magenta, reddish tone. You could even play with the blend modes. You could go and try different ones. But I'm really in love with this color burn because it's super, super vibrant. And then I want the top corner here to be a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna add another layer. And this time I'm gonna set it to add. And I'm still at the same pink tone and just use my stripey brush again. And this time I'm starting from the top corner here to go down a little bit. And this also adds kind of a very light shade of pink. I'm not super convinced of this though. So let's see if color dodge goes better or screen. I think I like screen. Screen is really nice, not too bright. And now we have a background which is very interesting right away without us having much work with it. And to save layers now, we want to just pinch the 3 layers together to just merge them. Then we only have 1 layer used so far. I don't know if you've ever worked with the animation tool here in Procreate. We find it under Canvas and Animation Assist. And once we turn that on, every layer or every layer group we have will turn into 1 frame. And every animation is made out of a lot of frames, like played in a certain pace, back and forth, or always in a loop. And that makes our brain think something is moving. Yeah, so that's basically how an animation works. And we are going to start now with our little spider. So we add another layer, and then you see later on what I mean with the animation. We want to add a dark tone and pick something like a pencil. That's all right. I'm going to go back to my sketcher and I will just draw like an oval shape down here. Kind of like this. And color drop. Might be even a little bit too big, so probably a little bit smaller is okay. So that's the belly of our spider. And we want to place it at the most extreme position where our spider is gonna be. That makes it easier for our animation later. So this is the furthest down position of our spider when it comes down the screen. From there, it's gonna go up again. So I think that's the position is okay. I want to add another layer now. And now we need our just recently made fur brush. And with the same color, we just draw, but that's too big. We just draw cute furry lines here around. And you can decide how big or small you want them to look. I just didn't like it because I still find my brush too big. So I just scrubbed with 3 fingers, like, yeah, scrubbing something away. And then the whole canvas is being erased. So that's better, I guess. And now I just go ahead and draw a lot of hair all around our cute little spider friend here. On the bottom, on his, what is it? The belly bottom, whatever. There I want the fur to be a little bit shorter. And towards the top, it's getting a little bit longer. And this spider here didn't comb for a long time. So its hair are like really stray and pointing in different directions. So let's just go ahead and draw. Don't bother if you still see the outline of our oval. We're gonna get rid of that in a second. So let's see. Oops. Maybe like this. Yeah, that looks super cute and fluffy. Okie dokie. And to make those edges of our dark oval here a little bit, less visible, we just apply Gaussian blur again. So we go back to our layer with the oval and we tap the magic wand tool again, Gaussian blur, and just blur it. And now we have a nice cute fur ball here. Let me zoom out the canvas. Yeah, you don't see the oval any longer, you just see the fluffy hair. If you would be super sophisticated, you could go ahead and add more layers with different tones of, you could go a little bit lighter. I just want to show you quickly. So I would add another layer and just add some, you could add some shorter hair and then play with the opacity to bring in some highlights or some darker tones. But for this animation, we don't really need that. So I'm going to delete that layer for now. Okay, next what we need are the legs. And now we need to make a decision. Do we want our spider to be spider-like, like a real spider? Or do we want it a little bit more cute, kawaii, or less scary maybe for some people? So I think I want to go with a less scary one. So for that we need to draw thicker legs. If you go ahead and draw like thin legs with kind of pointy angles, the spider is looking, quite real. If you like that, that's totally fine. I want mine to be a little chubby and a little bit more cute. So I'm going to go ahead and draw rounded lines and thick ones as well. So let me see. I added a layer underneath the belly, and this is where I want to draw my legs. So I'm going to draw 8. Let's see. We're going to have maybe a few attempts until we like the legs. That's already okay. So the thicker the legs are and the rounder the shape is, the less scary and real does it appear. So I'm just checking the chat in case there's any question. So, and let me just have a sip of my tea. Okay, so now I think that's good to go for now. Let me pin, that looks quite cute. And we need another face now, of course, for our cute little spider here. So let's add another layer at the very top. And I guess we can pinch these 3 layers already. So everything that's belly and legs, we can pinch already. So let's merge them together and add another layer now. And we're going to pick our white tone. And then we draw some nice big eyes. The bigger the eyes, the cuter it appears. Let's see once more. I'm having a hard time to draw two equal circles, so I usually would go ahead and just duplicate this first eye. So I would tap double. For you, it might be the three finger swipe down and then duplicate. So, and now I can just move it to the side to have a second eye, which just has the same shape. And if I merge those down, I can even position that right in the middle. I wanna turn on snapping. Sorry if I was too fast. Let me repeat. I merged both eye layers, and what I want to do now is I want to position it right in the center of our canvas. So let's go ahead, and I want to turn on snapping for that. So I hit the move tool and turn on snapping here, and that gives me a yellow line as soon as I'm in the center. So let's see. And I guess I want to have the eyes a little bit higher, and our spider body also needs to go to the center. And by just tapping, we move it up pixel by pixel. I guess that's okay. Wonderful. So we need the pupils now. So let's add another layer on top of our eye layer and go back to our black. And then we just draw cute dots right in the center. So you can go with tiny dots, and you just check what you like better. If you want a tiny dot, it looks completely different than when you just draw a big pupil. So you just go with what you like better. I think I want to go with those bigger pupils here. So next what we need is like a tiny little mouth and some rosy cheeks. So let's go, and guess what? We add another layer. Yes. That way we can reposition until we finally are happy with the shape of our spider, and then we can merge things together. So I want its mouth to be bright pink, so I've chosen my pink color. I just draw a cute kawaii mouth here, and rosy cheeks. I'm gonna pick my my light pink color here, and just draw two tiny circles like on the sides of his eye, kind of all the same height, and that makes it super cute. I love it. Okay, so if you're happy with the face of your spider, you can start merging layers, but we cannot merge everything now. So what we can do is we can merge all the eyes and mouth cheeks layers together. And that gives us two layers, one for the face and one for the body of our spider. Next, what we need is the thread, the web thread thingy. And this is just a white line we draw underneath our spider. So we go and pick our white value, and I'm still with my pencil brush, and I'm just gonna draw a line up. I think it's a little bit too thick, but again, you go with what you like, just kind of starting in the center of the spider, moving up. It doesn't matter at all if this line is a little bit wonky. The opposite, it makes it kind of wriggle a little bit for our animation, and that's exactly what we want. So I think our spider on its web thread thingy is done, and we can get started with our animation. And I'm gonna toggle on my animation assist now. So wrench tool, canvas, and then animation assist. And now you can see everything looks super weird, but we can manage that in a second. Right now, it would just play each layer on its own. And that's, of course, not what we want. We want the pink to be the background all the time. And that's a setting here we can make down here in our animation studio. So we tap our first pink square down here and we tap it again. And then this little menu opens. And here we can tell that this is going to be our background. So we toggle that on, and now we see it's gonna be there all the time. It's not gonna go back and forth, it's just gonna stay there. Let me just tell you quickly. If you want a layer or a layer group to be the background, then you always have to make sure that it's at the very bottom here in your layers panel. It's not gonna work when it's on another place. Yeah, that's just to let you know. If the layer would be here, I can't even move it up there because it's set to a background layer. Yeah, I can toggle that off again to show you. So I've toggled off the background. I'm gonna move it up here. And now the function is gone. I can't turn that into a background layer anymore, of course, because it's not at the bottom. So let's move that back down to the bottom and toggle on background layer. Okie dokie. And of course, we don't want different parts of our spider appearing on its own. Of course, we always want it to be visible all at the same time. And that's just done by swiping them all to the right, all those 3 spider layers, and turn them into a group. And now that's a group. The animation assist thinks this is just one layer. Super handy. Okay, all we need to do now is to move our little spidey up. Yeah, so we can just tap this layer down here and say duplicate. So now you can check. Now we have 2 of our spider groups, but to save us some layers, we wanna merge the second one together, not the first one. We are going to need some layer group still to change the eyes, but the rest of the spider that's going up and down without blinking or winking can just be on one layer because we won't change anything anymore. So let's just make sure we merge this together to save us layers. So I tap the group and I say just flatten. So now it's just a layer with all the spider on it, and we can move it up a little bit. For that, I would suggest to turn off snapping, because snapping would just make it jump to certain spaces, and we don't want that. We might want to have it moving up in like smaller increments, and that's not going to be possible with snapping on, so we just toggle that off. And now we can freely move our spidey up. And now you can see down there, this is the first spider. Let me go back. That's the first spider. And here you can see it yellowish. That's the second spider. It's moved up a little bit. And that's what we just do now until our spider is vanished out of our canvas. So let's tap, let's duplicate and move it up just a little bit. And we want to make sure we kind of have all the same increments in which it's moving up. and tap it again. Say duplicate and move it up. So, and now you see, we see quite a lot of spiders from our layers before, and this can go in the way of, yeah, seeing things. It can be a little bit distracted. So let's tap settings and turn down the onion skin frames, because that's what it's called. The onion skins, you see part like translucent parts of the frames before, but it's a little bit too distractive. So I'm going to turn the number down to just 1. Now I only see the one before, and that's all right. That's enough. Okie dokie. Tap the layer, say duplicate, and move it up. And go on until the spider is completely vanished, disappeared. Duplicate, move tool, move it up. Tap the frame, duplicate, move tool, and up. It can be a little bit tedious, but I decided to just see it as kind of a mindful activity. So I want to feel like really calm with these kind of repetitive processes. So I'm just gonna do it. We could turn on some nice music and just enjoy the process. And duplicate and up. Oh, I really like it. It looks so cute. And up and duplicate and up and whoops, and duplicate and up, and we're almost there, and duplicate and up. In case you hear some sneezing, that's my husband having his hay fever. And he's 2 rooms apart, so we still hear it. Okay, look, it starts to disappear. Bye-bye, Spidey. And move it up. And duplicate. And move it. And duplicate. Bzzzt. And one more. And then it's gone. Ta-da! No more Spidey. So let's see how it looks. If we play our animation, we just tap play, zzzt, and it moves up. Super cute. I like it. Okay, let's pause it for a moment. Maybe we want to have it a little bit slower. So I went to here to settings, and here I'm at the frames per second, and this is where we can make it moving slower or faster. So let's see. 11 maybe. 8. I think that's all right. And we see it only moves out of the canvas, but it doesn't come back. And that's what we're gonna do now. Yeah. So we're gonna scroll our frame line here to the very left, right next to our bottom, next to our background frame here. So we're at the spider. That's at the farthest bottom down position, however you say it. And this should be our layer group. And now we're gonna duplicate that again, but we're gonna move in this direction. I show you what I mean. It's easier to show it than to explain it. So I hit the very first frame here again. I tap it and I say duplicate. So now we have 2 spiders on the bottom. And this one, let's check in our layers panel, is now again a layer group, which we don't want. We want to save layers just to make sure our animation is going to fit in one canvas, in one, even when you're using a smaller iPad. So let's go ahead and flatten this group again. I just tap group and flatten. So now I have the bottom layer here, the bottom spider, and it's just one layer. But I still have the group, which is this one here. That's the second frame here. And this one is the first frame. And this is what we are going to move up now again. So let's go ahead and do the same as we did before. And now we see the onion skin frames. They are yellowish. That's why they're after this layer here. Whereas when we see a turquoise one, that's before. So now you can depict the yellow one is that comes after, and the turquoise one is the one that comes before. And I set that here in the settings with onion skin colors. So I went to settings and I tap onion skin colors, and here I can give the colors, the before frames and the after frames different colors, just to help me to see which one comes after, which one is before. It's easier to position then. So let's go back to our bottom, like to the farthest left layer frame, and then we tap duplicate again. Duplicate. And now we need to tap the one that's left from it. And this is the one we're going to move up, just to keep the right order. Again, tap the farthest left one, say duplicate, go to the left and move it up. And repeat until again the spider disappears out of our canvas. Here we go. And tap and duplicate, tap the left one and move it up. And duplicate, tap the one to the left and move it up. We could write a rep somehow. Let's tap it, let's duplicate, let's tap it, let's move it up. Well, yeah, or not. So duplicate, go to the one to the left and move it up. And continue. Nope, that's the wrong one. As soon as you see a yellow onion skin or whatever color you've chosen, then you're not on the right frame. That's very helpful. So you need to tap the one to the left and move that up. If for whatever, if that happens that you move the wrong one, that's no problem at all. I can show you. We tap the frame, we duplicate, and now I forget to go to the right frame and move this one up instead. And oh no, I moved the wrong one. That's no problem. I can just tap this frame down here and position it to the left. And now it's working properly again. So hit duplicate. And whoops, see, forgot it again. Just move it to the left, duplicate, hit the one to the left, move it up, and duplicate, hit the one to the left, move it up, and duplicate, hit the one to the left, move it up. Bye bye, Spidey. And duplicate the one to the left, move it up. Oh, there it's gone. Duplicate, one to the left, move it up. I love when this tiny little belly part here is still visible. Duplicate, go to the left and move it out of the canvas. Awesome! So are you curious how it looks now? So let's just go ahead and hit play. Zzz, and back. How cute! I love it. I just think it needs a bit of a pause when it's out of the canvas. So let's go back to our first layer where nothing is visible here. And here we have the function hold duration, and it's set to none. But I want it to hold, let's say, 2 frames maybe. And also at the very end, here we do the same. Also say 1, 2 frames. And now you see, you can't really do something there. It's just an empty frame. It's just kind of a little pause in our animation. And gone. And now it takes a little while until it appears again. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Super cute. Okay, what we want to do now is the little winking or blinking animation. Just let me check. Is there a question? No question? You guys are awesome. Obviously, you know already quite a lot about Procreate. So let's go to the bottom layer. Foremost, bottom one, that's this one, and that's probably our layer group. And this is what we need to duplicate now, let's say 5 times, 6 times maybe, that we have 7 of our layer groups in total. Let me just quickly check something. Okay, so let's go ahead. It's easier to duplicate things here in the animation assist. So let's duplicate. Let's duplicate again and again. We have 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so we have, there's the first one that goes up. So that's the first one on the bottom. That's the second, the third, and that's the middle one. So we have, that's the middle frame with the spider on the bottom. And here we have 3 more before it goes up. And, whoops. And am I on the right? No, go away now. I don't need that at the moment. So let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in the 4th layer group. We can check that here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I'm on the correct group. And I want to draw on this layer with the eyes. And if you tap at the canvas, it's gonna ask you right away on which layer you want to work. So I want to work on this one where I see the eyes. And now we can decide, do we want to have it just close one eye or both of the eyes? You do whatever you want. I think I'm gonna go with a wink, so I will erase part of this eye now. And I want to erase with the same brush that I'm drawing with, so with a sketcher, and that's super simple. I just tap and hold my eraser tool here. So now I'm going to erase with the same brush. and I want to erase the eye, let's say, to half of its size. So I'm going to erase the bottom part and the top part as well until I have this kind of oval almond shape thing. No, actually that's not true. I'm going to erase the whole eye, the complete one. Ta-da, all gone. And I'm going to replace it with just a line. And for the line, I'm probably going to go with a light gray tone. Let's see. And then where the eye has been, I'm just going to draw this kind of curvy line. It's kind of the middle height of the other eye, just a tiny curved line. You could also draw just a straight line. You could also erase the other eye and draw a second line here as well. So that's our middle frame. And now we're going to go one to the left. And this is where we need to erase half of the eye. Whoops. So I tapped the canvas and it's asking me, because we're working on a group right now, it's asking me on which layer in this group I want to erase. So I'm going to tap the one where I see the eyes. And now I can just go ahead and erase parts of the eye here and on the bottom. That's all right. That's enough. Then go one to the right. This is where we have the complete closed eye. And then let's go one to the right again, one frame to the right. And here we're going to do the same and erase part of the eye. So we tap the layer with the eyes and we erase, let's say, half of the eyeball. Okay, and if we hit play now, we will see the winking effect. Let's check how it looks. Tap, eye closed and opened. Zack. I love it. And zack. Super cute. Okie dokie. So what I want to do now, the last step for now, is I want to make the legs move, wiggle a little bit, but only when the spider is at the very bottom. Yeah. So let's pause our animation and let's swipe it to the spiders on the bottom. Am I there now? Yep. That's the first spider on the bottom. And what I'm going to do now is I will hit the magic wand button and then I'm going to go to the liquify tool, which is set to push, and the size is with me maybe kind of, yeah, I don't know, let's check, with 27%. Pressure is max, distortion is max, momentum is none. And then I just move the legs a tiny little bit, just tiny, to the bottom. Just a tiny little bit. Okay. And I want to go to the next one. And I hit liquify again. And now I'm going to move. No, now I'm going to leave the legs where they are. And I'm going to actually move one frame up. Liquify. And this is where I'm going to move them up a little bit. Here we see, and you see where the where the legs in the frame before were, and you have a little guideline in how far you can move them, that they are not super distorted, but just jiggle a little bit. Cute. Okay. So let's go here. They're down again. And now, let's see, wait. So here we need to move them again. So let's go to our liquify tool and move them down once more. Zip. We could even pull them a little bit so that it looks like it's stretching its legs a little bit. Just a tiny, tiny tad, not too much. Down. And I want to go to the next one. And also, I guess I want to move it even further down. Because, like physically, when something moves up, like extremities would go down first before they move up again and move up with the rest of the body. So let's see how we can make that happen. We push them down again. Not too much, otherwise we're going to distort the spider body a little bit. Oops. Let's undo. Let's just move it down. Carefully, that we do not distort it too much. I just want to have them point down a little bit more, like this. And let's go. It's still not going up, right? This is the one where it goes up. Let's see, and move them down once more. Carefully push it down. Without distorting it too much. And let's see how that looks. And tap play. Here we go. One's up and one's down. That's so cute. You could also just have it go up and down, like it would just wiggle with his legs, but it's just kind of flying. How cute. I love it. Super cute, this little spider. Okay. One last step. If you are super sophisticated, you could draw a little bit more in the background and even add a little foreground. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let's scroll our layer down where it says layer 1, and we're adding another layer on top. But now we are gonna group these two layers together to have it all in the background. Yeah. As we said, the animation assist recognizes a layer group as one frame, and it also works the same with the background. So what I'm going to do now is on this layer, the one we just started, I'm going to pick my green color and I will just draw some leaves, like peeking out from the sides into our canvas. Just something like this, just random. Doesn't need to be perfect. You can do that as perfect as you like. So here's one, here's another one, maybe bend in this direction. Whoops. The shape wasn't closed. So here we go. And here's some leaves, maybe like this, in this direction. And maybe another one in this direction here. I really love this green on the pink color, that's awesome. And to have it a little bit more interesting, we're going to add another layer. Let's just first add a layer and set it into a clipping mask. So tap this layer again, say clipping mask, and then we're going to change the blend mode again. Let's say color burn, and I want to go and pick my stripey brush. If you want, you can choose the dry brush or whatever texture you like. And I'm just going to draw some lines here. Ta-da! Wonderful. It doesn't have to be perfect now. You could spend, when you're on your own, you could spend as much time as you want. So that's layers, maybe some light ones, maybe some light stripes as well. Turn that into, add another layer, turn that into a clipping mask, and say add. And here we give it some highlights as well, like here, just randomly to add some interest, that it doesn't look super digitally. And if we say play now, the spider is in front of the leaves. So the leaves are basically in the spider's background. So what would be super interesting now is if there's something in the foreground, what kind of partially would hide our spider. And I show you what I mean by that. Nope. Let's go at the very top here and add another layer here. And now let's choose the dark green tone and just add some maybe grass leaves, whatever. Something, not with our stripey brush, but with our pencil brush. Something like that. So it's a leaf that's kind of bent here. Whoops. This shape wasn't closed. Here we go. Yep, and maybe another one here. Just random shapes, and maybe one here. It's gonna cover parts of our spider when it comes down. It just creates some depth in our illustration. Fill that color drop, and we also want to give it some texture that it doesn't look so boring. And now it looks weird again, that's clear. Let's just turn those two layers we just created into a group, and then I'm going to show you the trick. This is our last layer group, and we want that to be the foreground layer. It's basically the same as the background. It's not going to move with our animation, but it's going to be like a sandwich. Background is down here, moving spiders in the middle, and foreground is on top. So let's toggle on foreground and give it some texture again. Clipping mask, blend mode, let's say, try again, color burn. Go to our stripey brush here and add a little bit more interest, just following the direction of the leaf. Here we go, and maybe some highlights too. So add another layer, turn it into a clipping mask, hit the letter N to change the blend mode to add, and then add some lighter like here. Whoops. And some more down here. Now it looks like it's bent down. And do you want to see how it looks now? Let's just hit play. And you see, it's kind of partially hidden by the leaf in front. Oh, I love it. That's really cool. I hope you like it too. And I think we're finished with our wonderful illustration. So please go ahead and share that on Instagram and tag me. Let me just quickly toggle on my image where you can see my data. Please follow me and always tag me with the tag Drawwithjuhesch and even my name, yeah, that I'm able to see what you share on Instagram. I would love to see what you come up with. So I hope you enjoyed this, finally working live stream as much as I did. I had a lot of fun and I can't wait to see what you guys create with what you've learned today. So I'm wishing you a wonderful evening and we see you guys next time. Bye!